first and foremost, I want to come up here and say, um, I am sad that Russell Westbrook just announced his retirement today, and you know, he was one of the guards that was given 110 every night on the court. Triple double machine. Um, was 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 one of them ones, man. He was a fast break dude, dominant player. Um, Up and down the court was just one of them ones. He Russell Westbrook was just, I gotta give it to him. He was a smart player, and his MVP season. I gotta give him to his MVP season. He was just going nuts. I don't really know the numbers on what he was averaging, but I know that man was averaging a triple double that whole entire MVP season when Kevin Durant left. You know, um, you know, I know he was in the class of 2008 with Derrick Rose, Steph Curry, OJ Mayo. If I'm missing a person, my bad, but he was in the class. He was in that class, and Steph Curry is the only person now that out of that class is still playing, and so it's crazy that Russell played 18 years and put his heart, his soul, and every team he was at, he played hard. He started with OKC. OKC was when he was there with KD, James Harden, Jeff Green, Serge Ibaka. Um, they were so young, and it took them a couple years. Took them a couple years to make the playoffs because I know they wasn't that good. But in 2010 they were going crazy. They just played the Lakers in 2010 to lose in six was to push the championship Lakers to game six was not, to me, that was a little bit, that was improvement right there to push the championship Lakers. You know, um, it's it was a great series. I remember, um, it was always through the wire. Russell Westbrook was going crazy, KD was going crazy, Jeff Green was going crazy. James Harden. Then 2011 comes, they make it to the Western Conference Finals, where they meet the Dallas Mavericks in the Western Conference Finals, and they end up losing, I believe, in six or in five. So they end up losing against a team that goes to the finals and beat the Heat that year. 2012 season comes, you know, they win the East. I mean, they win the West. They win the West, and they go and they play the Miami Heat. And I can tell you this: first, Russell Westbrook's final NBA Finals run was crazy. He went crazy. I know there was a couple games that he dropped 40. And he was averaging probably like 20 something a game. But I know game four and game five, if I remember, I think both games he had 36 and Game 5 he had 40, but I don't know if I don't really have my facts there, but I know he he scored that in in the finals. Obviously, you already know um the Miami Heat ended up winning, because OKC ended up winning game 1 and Miami ended up winning 4 straight, and that's what happens when you're experienced and when you're unexperienced, like how young the Thunder was. The Thunder was very, very young at the time. They had James Harden, Kevin Durant, and Russell Westbrook. That following year, they ended up breaking the team because they ended up trading James Harden. Yeah, they ended up trading James Harden, and that team hasn't been the same since. Since they traded James Harden, they ain't even make the finals. That 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 time when KD and Russell was there. 2013, Russell gets hurt in the first round of the playoffs against Houston. OKC loses in the second round against, I believe, Memphis. Right. 2014. 2014. That's Kevin Durant's MVP year. Right. They make it to. I think they beat Memphis in the first round. Played the Clippers in the second. Beat them in 6. And ended up losing against San Antonio in the Western Conference Finals. Then, following year, 2015 season, KD gets hurt. And this is where Russell Westbrook really showed out that whole entire year while KD was hurt. Um, I, the 2015 year was when Russell Westbrook was averaging a triple double, and he knew he was going to become that when KD was hurt. And they were going to make the playoffs, but it wasn't going to be enough. You know, I had a feeling if they were going to make the playoffs, they were going to lose because, yeah, Russell Westbrook did all he could to try to bring that team to the playoffs, but he couldn't do it. There's no one basketball player can bring you to the unless you're LeBron James and you got a decent core around you, then yeah, I believe that you can go to the other level if you're LeBron. But other than that, Russell 20, I say 2020, I said 2016 season, we get a full KD healthy and Russell Westbrook's healthy. I believe, right? Yeah, yeah, yep. You gotta have a decent squad around them. And this is where everybody gets mad because in the Western Conference Finals, they were up 3-1, you know, against Golden State. Up 3-1. They could have closed it out in game 5 at home. But they blew it. They blew a 3-1 lead. And Kevin Durant, like Stephen A said, made the worst decision as a superstar because he jumped ship to the Golden State Warriors that were already built. He just jumped to another team that he thought that he was gonna take over, but really that was Steph's team, and he probably thought it was gonna be his, but no, it's gonna be Steph. Steph has been there longer than KD has, and we already knew that it wasn't gonna happen like that. So Russ stuck around, 20 2027. 2017 season and 2018 season was the season that he was averaging a triple double, and he won the MVP, but he ended up losing in the first round against the Houston Rockets. But I understand why he lost is because he didn't really have help either. So I get why he lost. It's he was just going crazy in that first round of the playoffs, but James Harden and the Houston Rockets had a better team than Russell Westbrook. They lost in five. Um, the 2018 and 2019 season. During that summer, they get Paul George and Carmelo Anthony. This is where I thought they were gonna win a championship with all three of them there, but they disappointed me as well with with them losing in the first round against a young Utah team. They get rid of the following year. They get rid of Carmelo Anthony. They keep Paul George and they keep a decent team around them. Now, PG and Russell was going crazy that year, but again, they end up getting beat in the first round against the Portland Trailblazers when Damian Lillard hit that shot over Paul George. Then he ended up getting traded. Russell Westbrook ends up getting traded to the Houston Rockets. Then this is a 2020 and 2021 season. No, this is a 2019 and 2019 and 20 season. They end up getting to the bubble. They went 7 against OKC, I believe, and they lose against the Lakers in 5. So at least Russell Westbrook made it out of the first round, but they met a better team against the Lakers. That's totally fine. I I get it. Then he ended up getting traded to Washington. You know, um, ended up getting traded to Washington. He carries Washington to the playoffs, but ends up getting eliminated by the Philadelphia 76ers. And I give him that. I give him that he was averaging another triple double that year as well. You know, through all the years that Russell Westbrook was there, he was averaging a triple double. I'll give him that. Um, he ended up getting eliminated by the Philadelphia 76ers during the summer. He ends up getting traded to the Lakers, and this is where his really downfall begins. Um, they thought that he was gonna be one of the ones with the Lakers, and this man was getting treated like he was a bum. He was trash. Um, and to me, my opinion was when I was watching Russell Westbrook as a Laker, I think he should have not went to the Lakers. I think he should have went somewhere else. He didn't fit with the Lakers. Um, he was a more dominant. He was a more ball dominant player, and he couldn't. He was really not shooting threes like that. So he ended up getting traded. He ended up getting traded to the Clippers, where he and then he actually with the Clippers was doing a way better job with them than he was with the Lakers. he came out the bench with the Lakers, and I mean with the Clippers, and they ended up, hit with him, Kawhi, Paul George, um, and then they added James Harden on top of that, but still they didn't do nothing, and ended up leaving. He ended up going to Denver after that, and I feel like he did good with Denver. Like, I feel like Denver they had a bench that year, but I think he had a little bounce back with Denver with him and Jokic. Him and Jokic was actually a pretty good duo. I even add Jamal Murray into there, but again, they were hurt. So at the end, they met a younger, stronger team with OKC, with OKC beating them. This is where, this is where, where it kind of hurts because he goes from Denver going to a free agency from nobody trying to get him during the free agency. I guess in the last minute he ended up going to Sacramento, and he had a good year with Sacramento, but earlier today he ended up calling it quits with 18 years in the league, and um Russell Westbrook had really had that dog, and I want to say to Russell Westbrook, congratulations on the NBA career that you are gonna be proud of, and I know you're proud of it because everybody's proud of your career and what you did and what you're still gonna be continuing after basketball, and yeah, so Russell Westbrook did his thing. He felt like he had to retire, so I feel like if he had to retire, then I feel what he had to go through. So congratulations on a beautiful career, Russell, and your career is gonna keep. And oh yeah, your jersey is gonna get retired in OKC for sure. Number 0 is going to get retired in OKC. I just have a feeling it is. The fans love him, and people are always gonna watch. Now people are always gonna watch old Russell Westbrook highlights and new Russell Westbrook highlights. So again, this is breaking news. I know everybody already know, but um, congratulations on a beautiful career for Russell Westbrook, and let's keep it, and then let's keep it going for everybody else. So um, I will be on here tomorrow to talk about more about boxing. I want to go out here talk about a little bit about boxing and see where everybody is at because I know Carissa Shields fight tonight. I mean not tonight, but Saturday night, and next week is Tier Teofimo Lopez versus Rolly Romero. So I can't wait for that. And there's a couple of things I want to talk about. So please like and subscribe, and give me a lot of likes and give me a lot of subscriptions, please. And and I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, bye bye.